What's up, everybody? So today we are finally getting into the Civic. I know I've been talking about it for a long time, but today we're actually gonna start doing the manual swap. So as you guys can see here, we have the manual subframe set up here, and basically what we're gonna do today is get this thing all cleaned up because it's disgusting. You guys can see it's got a little bit of surface rust, it's got dirt and stuff, and I guess you and I went through.
We power washed this thing.
Yeah, we've cleaned it all up and had it pretty good, but as you guys can still see, it's pretty gross. I do not want this going back in the Civic, so that's the goal today, is get this thing cleaned up. And as far as like these series of videos go, I'm gonna break them up into like little sections, similar to how we did like the interior swap, just because I want everything to go kind of smoothly. And you and I have never done this, so this is a whole learning process. So I want just to make sure we don't have any issues. And if we do, you guys can learn from them, and hopefully you guys can learn how to do this from our videos. But the first thing, like I said, get this thing cleaned up. We already had one issue with it. We ended up taking the lower control arms off of this because we didn't need it, and that bolt there, I guess the bolt was fine, but the nut had ripped off of here. So what we did was just replace it with a locking nut and a new bolt, so that should be good to go. So for right now, let's go ahead, get the wire wheels out, get this thing cleaned up, and then we can go ahead and respray it. Before we actually start sanding on this, I want to go ahead, take these brackets and stuff off of here just to get them out of the way and make things a little bit easier to clean. So I think you got the sockets and stuff?
I think we're right, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get all this stuff taken off, and we can go ahead and start getting this prepped up. Okay, so Luke and I went ahead, got all the accessories and stuff off of there, like that little bracket there. We have a couple other things, I guess.
This is also flipped
Yeah,
down.
it is upside down. And you got that cup over there. It's got like this other stuff that's like soaking up.
Our WD-40.
Yeah, a little WD-40 bath, because those bolts are pretty stuck in there and I don't want to snap them. So we got those soaking, and then once we get those bolts out, we can go ahead and start cleaning those. But for right now, I think we're gonna go ahead and do is take the wire wheel and hit in like all these like tough to hit areas. And then we'll also take a grinding disc, any like the rougher areas to help smooth it out. And I think you and I will just sand it. That'll probably be the best thing. I'm not really sure what grit we'll use just yet, but for right now, let's go ahead and just wire wheel this. Okay, so now we got it all wire wheeled and everything. We're gonna go ahead and start sanding it. I've got Luke kind of started on it over here. He's already started sanding that area. I just hit this area here. It seems to be doing pretty good. We're trying to get it down to about that bare, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and hit it with some primer and then the actual paint, which I think we'll just stick with black. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, keep it simple.
Yeah, black will look best. So we'll bring you guys back once we are finished up with all the sanding. Okay, so it's been a few hours since you last saw us. We ended up getting everything sanded up, as you guys can see here. Everything's prepped up, ready to go. We got everything masked off. We managed to get all these little bracket pieces and stuff hung up on the string here, so it'll at least be out of the way. And we're gonna go ahead and start off with some primer, and then everything else will be getting sprayed black. We have the black here, so I figure let's go ahead and start spraying this and getting this done. I believe this stuff takes like 15 to 30 minutes between coats, and then we can go ahead and hit that next. Okay, so that's our first coat now we have for this one side, as well as the little brackets. Now the brackets and stuff I'm not really too worried about, just because, I mean, they are what they are. They're not gonna make perfect or anything. Same thing kind of goes for the subframe. You're not really gonna see it. I just wanna have it nice, fresh black paint and keep it from rusting. So we'll let that cure up for like 15 to 30 minutes or until it's completely dry to the touch, and then flip it over, prime the other side. And then once that's cured, we can go ahead and start doing black. Okay, so we went ahead, we sprayed 2 more coats down on the subframe, have flipped it over, done the other side as well. It's going to take a full, I think, 4 hours for this stuff to completely set up. I'm really liking the way this stuff is turning out. It looks awesome. It's got a really nice smooth finish compared to what it was before, being all pitted and nasty and just kind of rusty and scratched. So it's looking way better. So I figured we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break now just because we got another 4 hours to wait. And it's getting pretty late, so we'll come back in the morning. We'll finish this off and we'll spray it black. So we will see you guys here in just a second. Well, it's the next day now. We went ahead and let this stuff cure up overnight. Turned out pretty good for being just the primer coats. We got complete coverage on everything, which I'm really happy with. That was what, like 2 coats of the primer. The only thing is, I don't know if you guys can see it there. Somebody's handprints are in there.
Not mine. Not mine.
Yeah, it's on your side. I mean, it's no big deal. I'm not really worried about it. It's on this will be the bottom side, so that's the only spot that's got the marks on it. So for now, we're gonna go ahead, spray this with black, flip it over, and then spray the other side with black as well. I can't wait to see what this looks like. It's gonna be so much cleaner. Because before it was just disgusting and nasty and just, it was gross. Scratches. So I guess let's go ahead and just keep on going. We just managed to get the subframe painted now. I think it looks awesome. It looks way better than what it did before. I mean, when you guys last saw it when we first started this was just disgusting. It was all rusty and gross. And
it was all scratched up.
It was it was pretty bad shape. So now having this fresh coat of paint makes it look way better. And if we were to do this like, I guess a better way to be a little bit more withstanding than just paint, I think we could have powder coated it, but I don't really know anybody around here locally that does powder coating, and I don't really want to spend the money on that. Yeah, so I think paint will work for now. If we ever get like into another project car or something that's more expensive or something along those lines, or if I really want to go all out with it, then I may start playing around with powder coating. But for now, I think this holds up just fine. So we gotta let this set for a little while. Luke and I just looked at the can to see how long we have to let this cure. It says 7 days, so we got a little bit of time to wait and let this dry. In the meantime, we may go ahead and do some other projects. I still need to do more stuff with the transmission here. I think that was kind of next up on the list to do, is I want to tear that apart and put new bearings and everything in there. Possibly some new synchros, depending on what kind of shape those are in.
Clean it too.
Definitely needs cleaned, and we might as well paint it if we're gonna do all that, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work like we did here, but I think it's definitely worth it.
What color though?
Oh, it's gotta stay silver. I don't think we can go anything too crazy. I just want to keep this pretty simple. Like I kept that black. That'll stay silver. So anyway, if you guys like this video and like the way the subframe turned out, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We got plenty more stuff coming, like I said, with the whole manual swap. This is just part 1. And I guess while we let this frame set, it gives me enough time to go get some new bolts, because the bolts that we used were...
I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, they're setting over here. They're pretty disgusting. I mean, the threads and stuff don't look bad, but the heads and stuff, I guess those 3 there aren't bad. The other ones that we pulled out were pretty corroded. They were gross. So I don't want those to snap. But yeah, I guess we will see you guys in the next one.